Good evening, everyone, and welcome to STB Sports Factor. I am your host, Mike B, and tonight I got 3 all-star guest hosts. To my right, got my man Garfield Griffin.
All right. What's up, y'all?
To my left, got my man DC, Damon Kayson.
Good evening. Thanks for having me.
And over to my far left, I got my man Darnell Dancer.
Good evening. Very happy to be here.
Hey, we want to welcome everybody to Sports Factor Live. This is our first live broadcast from the RL Hotel. And tonight, we're going to be talking sports, of course. And the first topic I want to talk about is athletes, high school athletes. Should they be obligated to? Not obligated. Should they just, concentrate on one sport in school? Because the AAU guys, they trying to play one sport. You got guys that can play multiple sports, but now they concentrating on one sport. So, do y'all think that it'll help them or hurt them to play multiple sports?
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, good evening. I think for me now, as I see, I think it'll help a lot more if an athlete is pretty much focused on one area and his development. At one point in time, you could have athletes that could play multiple sports, but when you get towards trying to take something to the next level, meaning D1 college or maybe overseas or maybe going to the pro level, I think at some point in time there has to be an intense focus going into one particular area. And I think for the most part, if you identify a kid who has that kind of level talent where you can actually see some star kind of talent in him, I think it's right to focus that kid and develop him and go into that area of that one particular sport.
Okay. My take on it is, I think that a kid should play multiple sports. I don't think that you should concentrate on one sport. I think kids get burnt out all year round playing basketball or all year round playing football. In one sport, I just think you should be well rounded. That's just my take on it. What you think, DC?
I'm with you. I believe that with today's kids and the talent that they have and gifted, I think they should be able to play multiple sports because one sport helps out the other. I know from transition from football to basketball, that's a big change, but also it'll help because they have that weight room experience, because now how athletes are on the basketball court, you need that extra weight room for your agility, your strength, and everything. So I support it 100% because you might not make it in one sport, but you might make it in another. So I push for it. If the kid can do it, you got my support 100%.
Okay.
The way I look at it is, there's different ways you can look at it. I agree similar on both ends, but the one person that comes to my mind is Tommy Polly. Tommy Polly played basketball, was an exceptional basketball player at Dunbar, and he excelled on the football field as well. But what happened was, when Florida State came to watch Dunbar play, they was coming looking at Ali. They left out of there wanting Tommy. I'm the head coach at Emerson High School with basketball, and I encourage my kids to play both sports and sometimes even 3, because what it actually does, it keeps them motivated mentally throughout the year for them not to fail, because we all know as the athletes what they do, some of them will play the sport and they'll stay academically eligible just to stay for their season. But if you have them playing more than one season, they'll get focused more academically, so it actually helps them all the way around. So I say let them play as many sports as they can play.
Well, that's a good point, Darnell, but what I want to say is for the guys that's out there 24/7 that may be in basketball still being developed on a 24/7 basis, is that putting those guys behind the 8 ball? Because here you go, you got this guy that's consistently playing basketball all around year. So my question is, are these other guys beginning to fall behind this level and this pace of where this guy, that's on the AAU circuit, that's consistently in basketball camps, that's consistently training, is he developing and on a whole nother level opposed to the guys that are doing other things like football, taking those 2 months to play, football or wrestling or, even track and field and other things? Are those guys falling behind? I guess that's my issue.
Well, actually, I don't think they are, because I know your normal focus is on basketball, but you also playing football as well. It's a different type of conditioning, but if you can play, you can play, and it's not going to take away from your basketball skills at all, because throughout the year that you're playing football or running track, some of the conditioning actually helps you to succeed in the next sport. So that's why I say it's always best for them to be multi-talented, multi-diverse. And like I said, aside from the sports part of it, the academic piece, it keeps them mentally focused. So if I know I got to stay eligible to play football in the winter, in the fall, to play basketball in the winter, and to run track in the spring, then I'm gonna make sure I'm on top of my game academically, because we all know, like I said, some of them will fall behind the 8 ball when they off season from the sport they playing.
Right.
Okay.
And it also helps by keeping them out of trouble. So you retired from constantly playing. You always is team oriented. You always have structure. With today's kids, they just come and go as they please. So if you around that team, football, baseball, basketball, track, it's a time schedule. You're on a time schedule, and it helps these kids structure, what a lot of them don't have.
Good point, Dan.
Okay. So, all right. Speaking of, you two guys coach high school basketball in Baltimore. I hear a lot of people say that our guys don't go to college because of the academics. Is that because of the school system, or what do you contribute that to?
Well, I can write a whole book about this one. To me, and this is just my opinion, once Baltimore City dropped the passing grade down to 60, then the kids start accepting 60s. That's something that my mother never allowed us to do. But when you lower the standards, it's actually hurting the kids, and that's what they're not looking at. And I'm gonna give you an example. If a kid has 3 60s and a 55, he's eligible to play, because in Baltimore City you can fail one class and you still can play. But that actually hurts them when it comes to trying to get eligible when it's time for them to go to college. So what they trying to do now in Baltimore City, they trying to raise it where the athletes have to have a 70. And my only response to that is, you still setting them up for failure. And the reason why I say that is because you take a kid that only failed one class, and like I said, got all 60s, he can still go to the prom, he can still go to the graduation, he's going to have a high school diploma. The only thing you're telling him is he can't play sports. And we all know sports is one of the avenues that keeps some of these kids in school. And one of the biggest failures to that is, if you telling me 60 is passing, and the lowest they can give you is a 50, so a kid don't have to come to school all year, he's going to get a 50. Now, if he comes to school at fourth quarter and make it up, if he comes out and get an 80, he's still going to fail. But so he would have to get a 90 in that one class in order for that 50 to balance out. So you automatically set these kids up for failure when it comes to academics. So that's my take on it. You got to get back to raising the bar up to a 70, and then as parents, we got to stop accepting 70s is passing. And one of the things that when the kid come to me and say, Coach, I passed all my classes, but you got 60s, how do your parent allow you to just have a 60 on your report card? So,
right. So if one of your players barely passed, is there any repercussions for them? You know?
Well, what I do, we run a study hall every day from 3 to 5 o'clock. Basketball practice doesn't start till 5:30. So by the time we're finished, all the kids' homework should be done. So when they get out of practice, all they need to do is go home, maybe to study a little bit, take a shower, like I tell them, talk to their little girlfriends or whatever. But all their work is done. If a kid passes all his classes, or he only failed one, or if he have a 60, technically I can't not let him play. He has to play. But my whole thing is to push him as much as I can. So I'm proud to say I've been at Emerson for 11 years, and I got a 100% graduation rate out of my basketball players.
Wonderful.
And then another thing that I do, I had 5 seniors this year. 4 of them already signed for college, and 1 of them is going to the service. So I feel as though my job is done.
No doubt. You got anything to say about that?
Yes. To piggyback off of what Coach was saying, it's tough because we as coaches, some of us not in the school system working. We have other jobs, so we not hands-on with the kids, so we get calls on our cell phones, but there's no help from the parents. In our era, we had our parents. If our parents couldn't make it, we had our uncles. So like I said, go back to that structure. We keep blaming the Rex and all this on that. You got to set that standard at home, and it's not getting met at home. We can't blame nobody but our home. Our families, we all have support, but today's kids, our kids have 60. Our coach had New Era, but they got on Gucci tennis and Gucci belts, the new iPhone. And I'm saying, like, we need that help from the parents and the grandparents, aunts or uncles. We just need that support. And I was trying here on New Era. That's where I went to middle school. Now it's a high school, and I go walk the halls. It's like, man, it's like no discipline, no structure, or nothing. Well, we getting a lot better though, but I just say that it start at home.
Well, I want to just kind of piggyback. I want to say I'm alumni of Emerson, so I got to congratulate this guy for 11 years. This is my nemesis Darnell over here. But for 11 years, Coach, I want to congratulate you for doing something with my alma mater, man, getting them back on track and, bringing that exceptional winning ways there. But the educational system and the way things are, I'm not coaching in sports, but I'm a management in business, so I see the things that y'all see. Just the willing to accept mediocrity. Kids not being pushed academically. I got kids that work with me sometime, and I come in and I say, well, how your report card? I passed, Mr. Garfield, but you got 60s, and you done missed 20 days out of school and all kind of things. So, for me, it's the same as y'all. I'm asking these kids, what are they doing? They're not athletes, but are you gonna go to college? You ain't graduate in June. What you doing with yourself? Oh, I don't know. I might want to take a year off. A year off to do what? And I think, along with sports, we got to get back, man, to just kind of promoting education to these children, man, because education leverages the playing field, and the playing field is life. We all in life. We all play sports, but for the most part, we able to rebound, man, and kind of get out here and have a decent life. But, you got a lot of people, man, that's struggling these days to get out here. These youngsters, when they get out of school and really don't have a clue and can't get their life going. And that's why our crime rate is so high in the city. It all ties in together, but, for the most part, they got to raise the standards back up. And we need help with the parents. It's a funny thing, we've been talking about that all week. All week we've been talking about that on social media. It's funny how it's tied back into this program.
Right.
All week, parents, we need you to get back out here with your kids, get your house in order.
Right. It's just like, Golf, I didn't mean to cut you off, but we always say, and I look at it, you'll stand in line for some Jordans for your kid, but you won't show up to a PTA meeting.
Wow.
And And it's sad that, like Damon said, he will have on the Gucci tennis, but you won't buy him a uniform shoe for school. So it's those type of obstacles that are putting these kids' ways in the kid way. And it's like you said, it starts with the parent.
Yeah.
And it's sad that a teacher will call his coach before they even call home. And when I talk to a teacher, the first thing they'll say is, well, coach, I know he'll get a more reaction from you than he will get from his parent. And it shouldn't be that way. We should be the ones who are backing the parent side. We shouldn't be their parent. And there are times where I done sat in the office with a kid, and the parent may come in there, and the kid may curse at the parent. And I'll immediately stop the meeting, and they'll apologize to me and not apologize to their parent. So if the parent don't take over your household, we're going to continue going through the things we're going through.
Wow, that is deep. Wow, 'cause you know, I'm coaching at St. Francis, but I'm not there full time, so you know, I don't see you know, everything that y'all seeing right now.
Right.
But
one of the good things with that is we all are products from the inner city.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
all
sir.
of it. And that's the one thing I gotta tell the kids, like, there's nothing. And I remember when my father and Damon Farbo, when he would tell us, like, there's nothing y'all gonna do that we haven't already done.
Right.
And I would look at them and like, I'm not trying to hear that. But when these kids realize Garfield, you took Lafayette Project,
Yes, sir.
David from Cherry Hill, Green Mountain Chase, all of us, same inner city kids, and I take my hats off to y'all three gentlemen all the time, because we all talk, we shake hands when we see each other, we hug when we see each other, we show the love, and that's what we try to show these little young kids, that we've been through it all, and we managed to make it to 43 and 40 and 45, so we trying to give y'all what we needed, and some of these kids, they just need hugs.
That's it.
And role models.
No doubt about it. So, my next thing is this one is near and dear to me, because we can go on and on about this all day. So I want to get y'all take on it. Should athletes be obligated to talk to the media right after the game?
Pro athletes?
Pro athletes, should they be obligated to talk to the media right after the game?
That's easy. When you sign your contract with $100 million, it's gonna say that in there.
I understand.
So if you don't talk, then you're gonna get fined. You're gonna get fined, but it should state that in your contract. It's just like buying a car or a house. You don't see that fine print. But I believe pro athletes have to talk to the media.
I understand they have to.
Eddie Murray.
Do you feel that they should be? I don't even talk about the contract. I'm talking about Damon played at a high level. You just lost the NBA final, and they throw that microphone in your face and ask you a dumb question. Should you be obligated to talk to them?
Yeah, me personally, if you man enough and can handle getting all the glamour, so when you take that L, you got to man up and stand in front of that media. So I think me personally, you have to be obligated, but the media shouldn't be able to go into the locker room. Now that's my personal take. Not why let me finish doing what I have to do, then I can come to you. But the media shouldn't be bombarding going into nobody's locker room.
I agree. In a locker room situation, you shouldn't have to deal with that. I think it should be a lot of amount of time for a player to have to come out and talk to the media. You have to have a calm down period. Whether you're winning or losing, you got emotions. We human beings, we emotional as it is. So with being competitive, comes a spirit, and your spirit generates a lot of hype and a lot of energy. And negative or good, you're going to have a reaction. So if somebody comes up in your face with a microphone after you just finished leaving everything on the floor. You done did everything you could do to win that game. And you dealing with somebody like Draymond that's in your ear all game, and come at the end of the game you lost. You know what I mean? And you know you grade, face some scrutiny. You need a time allotted. You need to maybe 20, 30 minutes after your shower just to get yourself calmed back down, And that's African Americans. We express ourselves a little bit differently than a lot of others.
No doubt.
We get off the hook a little bit. So, and the media, I don't mean to say it, but I got to be honest, we can be looked at in a certain way based on our facial expressions and our frustration. You know what I mean? So, here we go. How are we going to be perceived once that question is asked, Damon? And you looking at this guy like, really? You gotta be kidding me. You just asked me this question. Right. You know what I mean? But these are the things that the pro athletes have to face. And I know it's about marketing. It's about creating stars. So that's part of, the TV deal. That's inside their contract. So I know that's going to happen anyway. But I think the owners should at least give guys, a certain allotted amount of time to say, okay, well, you can't talk to them until 45 minutes to an hour later. They need time to calm down. That's my take.
Exactly.
And also, that's what they go to college for. So that's their job. Like the media has a big influence on a lot of sports. So, like I said, I would prefer you wait for me to come out to the podium. Don't bombard coming into the locker room so you can get the first question that you want to ask, because that's show respect. But also a lot of them have a good rapport with the media in their area, like Keith Mills here in Baltimore, Scott Garcelle. It was like cool. It was like, man, don't worry about it. I'm going to ask you these questions. But a lot of them have a lot of respect for a lot of the media in that area. But you will get that one that asks you that crazy question that you want to go at it. But I think that they should, but don't come into the locker room.
Okay.
Well, I pretty much agree. And just to finish with, or to add on to what Daniel said, every now and then you're going to have that one. So you gotta channel your energy. You're a professional. You gotta understand that his job is to start controversy sometimes, because we know controversy sells.
Right.
So you gotta be smarter than actually the questions that they ask. You gotta think about it before you speak, and you might take a deep breath or just get your thoughts together. So you just gotta prepare yourself, because that's why some of them ask those type of questions.
Right. Okay.
And a lot of them, a lot of them didn't even play sports.
A lot of the media,
so
right?
That's their job. So that's what I'm just thinking about. Colin Hurd.
Yeah.
He blowing up, but he ain't played no sport. So
Exactly. Okay. So college athletes. I know they say that they're getting a free education with all the money that they're generating for the school. March Madness is a billion-dollar business. Multi-billion-dollar business. That's just for March Madness, right? Should these guys get some kind of pay?
I don't think you really want to know my answer.
Yes, I do.
I look at college sports, honestly, is when I sit down and I looked at Nick Saban, who makes $6 million a year, and he received $1 million bonus for them making it to the championship. To me, this is modern day slavery. And the reason you can say about a scholarship, but if I want to give Damon's son some money for some tennis shoes, or if I want to buy Damon's son, pay for his book that I know Damon probably was struggling and couldn't do it for whatever reason, and I wanted to buy Damon's son a book, his son now will have to forfeit his college career because someone other than his mother or father reached out to him. They can't get a job. to help their financial issues. But my coach just got $6 million a year, $1 million signing bonus, and since I played in that national championship, for that 1 year, we done made the school $100 million. Right. So you trying to tell me the kids shouldn't get something? They need to get something else. This whole you're going to have a bunch of kids like they're doing now, not going to college, and trying to find a different avenue in order for them to get around going to college to try to be a professional.
Okay.
I think as you look on the landscape of things in this country, man, in sports, just trying to piggyback on what Darnell said a little bit. The amount of money that's being paid out coaches in college, universities, man, and these power conferences, all these TV deals and things like that they're getting. You have to take a greater look at the kids that you're bringing into these schools. You have to take a look at the background where these kids are coming from. Our kids aren't stable like they were back in the 70s and maybe early 80s. And it all ties into some of the things we were just talking about. They're in crime-infested areas, being raised by single parents, and some being raised by young parents. Some young parents have been blessed to have kids that are athletically gifted to get to these schools. But we talking about a mentality here. We talking about a kid that is going to school, and he knows how it is to go to school hungry. He knows how it is to go to school but not have the kind of clothes that he wants to go to, but he's athletically gifted. You have to look at the situation, and you have to say to yourself, you think if I got a jersey and I can make $200-300 off this jersey, and I'm hungry, I'm 6'6", 320 pounds, and that meal plan you're giving me ain't keeping me good. I only can wear tennis for 2 weeks because I'm going to run them down. I want to look nice, and it's a young lady that I might want to take out as well. All I'm saying is that at some point in time, the playing field got to be level. These athletes are making a lot of money for these schools, and yeah, they're getting the education. I don't want to detract from the education because that should be taken seriously as well. But it doesn't balance out. That financial sheet doesn't balance out at the end of the day of what the needs are when athletes are in school. And these big colleges are making these humongous amounts of money off of them, off of their hard sweat and tears. And the only thing that they can say, oh, we giving them a full ride. Oh, we giving them this. Yeah, but at the end of the day, just because I may have had somebody help me to get home, because my mother may have been sick and rented me a car, you want to take the whole scholarship from me and kick me out of school. These are the issues that our kids face. And you tell me that's fair?
No doubt.
Oh, we talked about this before. I'm a strong believer in paying the college athlete. CBS signed a deal with March Madness for NCAA for $13 billion. That's just for March. $13 billion. The SEC football makes over $500 million a year. Over $500 million. They paying the kids through the shoe company, so it's not coming from the state. The shoe Nike, Under Armour, Adidas, flooding these schools with money, but they just tell you what they want to tell you. These kids need to be paid. They can have a scale, a system. Mm-hmm. I'm not expecting, I went to Towson, so I'm not expecting to get the money. I'm getting paid what you want to pay somebody from North Carolina. No. But there's a way that you can come up with a system to pay these guys.
Okay. I think that was the issue. That's what they're saying the issue is. How do you pay these kids? Because not every, all schools don't make the same amount of money for the, all schools don't get the same amount of money. They don't make the same amount of money.
Okay, I got a couple examples. One, we played in Towson. When I was at Towson, we played Michigan and we played Louisville. So the kind of revenue Michigan brings in should be awarded to donate money to Towson. Louisville, they brings in lots of money. So their university should be able to donate to the smaller schools that they go and play, because you know you gotta have 32 games, so they gonna get a cupcake schedule. So them teams that Valparaiso and them kind of schools that not bringing in that revenue, when you go and play at Connecticut or when you go and play at Butte, they should be, rather than giving them $250,000 or $400,000, they should be double or triple. You got the money.
Well, the system is screwed up all the way around. Because you look at, and I go back to the coaches. If Damon is an athlete and he plays for Towson, and he was a freshman and had a real good year, and now Maryland wants to offer Damon for him to transfer, Damon has to sit out a year. A coach can make $5 million and get fired. He can leave that school and go to the next school and coach the very next year. So, and nothing happens to him. I mean, there's so many flaws within the system when it comes to college athletics and when it comes to the way they doing our kids. Like I said, they'll come into the inner city and get these kids because they know where the revenue is coming from. The reason why they trying to stop the high school kids to go straight to the pros in basketball, because basketball is a dominated African American sport. So that's why they're trying to stop it. Baseball, they go in these farm systems at 14, 15 years old. So, you know, tennis, you can be a pro at 13, 14. So all of a sudden now, it's a big push when it comes to basketball. The major issue is because it's dominated by the African Americans.
Well, that was my next question to y'all. That was my next question, because the NBA, the NFL are making it a requirement to go to college. So my take on it is, why are you making me go to college? If I don't want to go to college and I want to make a living, why can't I just go to the NFL? Why can't I just go to the NBA? Why do I have to go to college?
Can I join the police force when I graduate from high school?
Yes, sir.
Can I go to the service?
Yes, sir.
So I can do all those other things. I just can't play professional basketball or professional football. That's the issue.
You know why?
Wow.
They all in cahoots. The owners, the guys that run the NCAA, they have their own little meeting place where they come up with their own rules, and then they lay it out, and you got to go by it. See, now Mike Krzyzewski got a problem with it, so now they want to listen. So it's all in who behind it. But what, the NFL owners went out there and they made the team out in Vegas, so they all meet up. Like, we all grew up together. They all grew up together. They all had a plan in college to continue. We're going to pay him $100 million, but we're going to make $2 billion. So it's all that control. So once we start to understand, that's why a lot of people don't like LeBron, because his guys are smart and he's dictating to them. He's not allowing them to dictate to him or to his, what they call posse. That's what they call his guys. They some bright, smart, educated guys that's making big business decisions and moves like the Caucasians and the other nationalities.
I got concerned, guys. I'm right where you guys at, but I'm gonna come from a different perspective, because my concern is this, and I understand the dynamics of having a guy jump from the high school level straight to the NBA, and I watched the 30 for 30 on Calipari today, on the things that he do, and it made sense for what he said. You know, why have a kid? If I'm bringing a kid here, I'm bringing to help this kid get to the next level. I'm trying to get him to the NBA. Whether I win or lose, my goal is to make sure if this kid is talented enough, he's going to go right into the NBA after that 1 year. My main concern is not getting him to graduate, because he can take an online class and do whatever he needs to do to get to that point and get his degree. But for every individual, and I don't know the numbers. There also was a guy that was in camp with LeBron and Melo back in the day. His name was Lenny. I don't know his last name.
Yeah, the guy from New York.
From New York. This is my thing here. we got some guys that's not gonna make it. Right. And my question is, had they gone to college, or is there some kind of way to identify a certain kind of talent level that's NBA ready, that we know for sure? And I know it's not an exact science, but you know, Donna, we promoting a lot of these things of getting these kids here. But what about just making an average living of being a lawyer, or being a doctor, or being a dentist, or being, a plumber, or something like that, or being a project manager? There's a lot of other things that you can do while you're in college, or get your degree to go coach after you finish playing. It's a lot of other things that we can do, but we're not preaching it to these kids, that I feel like. And that guy Lenny, man, it was just so sad for me to watch him going to see the guys he was in camp with LeBron and with Melo, and leave the game walking down the street with no end in sight, with nothing. He had no clue what his next step in life was, and that's my concern. So I think it's a legitimate gripe that we have in getting these kids to the next level. But my main thing is, man, the failure rate for the one and dones, or for the high school kids that's trying to make that jump. Is there any way we can identify or come up with some systematic ways that we can say, well, you know what? Maybe you might need that 4-year college, or you might need to just, that's my concern for the kids who ain't gonna make it. That guy, it took something out of me that day, man. I felt sad for the guy when he walking down the street and had no clue, Damon.
I'm gonna go back to it. I'm a strong believer, man. When we came up, when we was playing, you wore scarf. I wore Donnell shorts.
Yeah.
The competition with Nike, Under Armour, and Adidas has gotten so strong that they taking over Little League now. Wow. It's about that dollar. We coach high school. He had respect for Pompey. He's gonna go and talk to Coach Pompey about his decision. I'm gonna talk to Coach Smitty. Now it's who the rep from Under Armour coming to talk to golf. Who's the rep from Nike that's going to push me? Who's the rep from Adidas? We have friends that's coaching AAU that's butting heads because one with Adidas and Nike and Under Armour. When we open our eyes to see what really is going on, is this tennis shoe company that just took over all athletic sports.
So is AAU ruining basketball?
I would say no. I know Kevin Garnett, I saw a special on him. He said it was. AAU has got a lot of kids to go see different other cities. It goes back to who they playing for. I'm going to go play with Melo, or I'm going to go play with Adidas, or I'm going to go play with Team Thrill, with Under Armour. I'm playing with who got the gear and who's connected. AAU has exposed a lot of kids that we didn't know. AAU had a lot of people build great relationships.
It's pros and cons to both of them. Because like what Damon was saying, when it comes to the AAU, when it comes to AAU, they get to travel a lot. They're doing a lot of things that we didn't do and had the opportunity to do when we were younger. So it's pros and cons. The one thing I do see is there are people that now they're getting to these kids at 10 and 11, 12 years old, and you're only going to be as strong as your parents, or it all goes back to your parents and your support system. Because like I know Damon, mother and father, was at all his games. My mother and father, certain things they just wasn't going to allow to happen to us. So the parents got to get back in, and they got to knuckle down and take care of these kids.
Okay, yeah, we got a question.
I'm going to say something. Me personally, this is my opinion. My brother was at Texas. This is fact. He was at Texas in Austin. I went to visit him. One of the players from Texas said, it goes back to the tennis shoe company. A rep from Nike flew with a check for $320 million. That was $320 million where Nike told him to go to Golden State because Under Armour was selling tennis. That big market out in Oakland. Steph Curry was back-to-back MVP, so Kobe retired. We don't have no big guy out there selling Nike. CP3 and Blake Griffin is with Jumpman. It's the difference. Mike get all that money. So KD, you got to go to Golden State. You don't even hear nothing about Steph tennis like that much no more, do you? Now he's the best player. Nike, Under Armour, Adidas. And when we wake up and realize who controlling this, then you'll understand the whole big picture. That's my personal opinion why he went to Golden State. I don't think he wanted to leave. I just think that $320 million ways to say you got to go out there and sell them tennis out in Oakland.
Yeah, that'll make me leave too.
Right.
I probably think that would have been all I sleep.
Right.
But I'm out here.
Yeah, you can go with me, but I'm gone.
No doubt. Now that you say that $320 million, but before I found out about that, I would say I thought it was a chump move for him going to Golden State. Yeah. I thought that you don't go to a team that just beat you when you had them 3-1. You don't go join them, you try to beat them. And I thought it was a punk move, but then the tennis shoe company controlling everything now.
Yeah, and I feel the same way. Because like you said, it was up 3-1. Golden State had just won 73 games. So for you to be the second best player in the league and to go to that team, I had an issue with it at first, but 320 make me forget all about that. Yeah, it is what it is.
Business, it's marketing.
I'm going with what the guy said. You know, he said LeBron paved the way for that to happen. This is what he said. He said LeBron started that, so he said I'm gonna follow suit. Okay, I ain't get it done in Oklahoma City. I don't have enough firepower to keep this thing going on. So he said, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna go over here and join this team for whatever reason. Maybe it was Nike, maybe it wasn't. I'm not sure. But Kevin Durant said LeBron paved the way for this to happen. He made a conscious decision for him and his family. And it worked out in the long run because he walked away with a ring. And it kind of solidified things because had he not won, we all would have been, and the media would have been lambasting him. Right. However, it worked out in his favor because he won the ring, so he validated actually what he did. So for me, for the most part, I don't have an issue with it because, like he said, LeBron paved the way for doing it also. I got you. Now, Golden State also built the team. Nah,
not this year.
Nah. No, not really. You have to have a certain kind of star power, and Kyrie was hurt during that time, and I'm gonna give Ms. Jeff due. What I saw this guy did over this playoff run, and the type of talent that he is, I haven't seen this since Isaiah. Just the ability to take a game over from a guard like that and just dominate. I haven't seen that in a long time, and I don't think there's any other guard in the league that can do what Kyrie Irving. So we talking about an elite level player. In that sense, and the way he played, he top 5 to me. If he can do that every night, and I'm gonna look at these guys, if he can do that every night, that guy's a top 5 player. And if they can tell me if there's anybody else in the league that can do that, I mean, he dominated. He just took the game over. So for me, for him, and to have LeBron the best player in the world, hands down. Now, Can it be debated? Probably so, but that's our opinion. But that's the best player in the world right there. To have those two together and healthy at one time, and Kevin Love, the best rebound in the game, to me. That's a hard thing because you traded away. They traded away their center, Golden State, who was their rim protector, Bogut. That was saying a lot. And to take him out of the equation, them guys couldn't stand up to that. And again, I'm saying that they won the title with Kyrie being hurt the first time. So this time around, last year, he showed you what it was all about. He was about to show you again. However, Durant was the X factor this time. That's my take.
No doubt. If you take Durant off this team this year, this Golden State team, no way. Put Harrison Barnes back on this team. With the team from this year, Cleveland wins this championship. No.
He was hurt. They won 14 games when he was hurt. So my opinion, I think Golden State, they needed him to get over the hump the last 5 minutes of fourth quarter. That's when big time players make big time, and he stepped up to the plate. But at the same time, when he was out, when he was hurt for that 18-19 game, they won 15 of them. So they just built the culture of winning attitude there. Steph, he was healthy. You could tell his knees was hurting last year when they lost, but it ain't no excuse. When you get there, all that's go out the door. But they won 67 games, and Kevin Durant was out, 18 or 20 of them games?
Yeah.
And they started gelling when he got hurt because they tried to conform the team into him, and rather for him conforming into that winning culture they already had built.
Yeah. No doubt. We got a question out there.
Well, I'll take it. It's a business. And all Calipari is worried about is making money. So if you see what's going on, even Duke now, because at one time Duke would not go after no one and done players, but they was losing. Coach K had to get with the times, and he had to realize, well, Kentucky and all those in Arizona and UCLA, when they started losing and they still try to play by the rules, they wasn't winning. So that's what Kentucky does. He goes after. He knows when he go after these kids, he knows they are one and done. So that's how he makes his money. He gets the one and done. They may leave. They still take care of him when they get these NBA contracts and stuff like that. So if you start to notice, all the other schools are starting to do the same thing. Because like right now, if you are a senior in college basketball, technically you're not that good.
Pretty much.
You're not that good. You're not that All-American, that first-round draft pick.
Yeah. Now
some do stay to get the 4 years to get the degree, and we understand that. But that's what John Calipari. And to be honest with you, he ain't started at Kentucky. He was doing it at UMass. He did it at Memphis.
Right.
He always went after the dark roads at Memphis. He went after the one and done players.
So this is my thing as a parent, and if you want your kid to get a college education, then Kentucky is not the place to send your kid. Because if your son is talented, one and done, and he go to Kentucky, he's only going to be there 1 year. Maybe 2. He only going to be there. So if you're looking at sending your kid to college to get the education, because I firmly believe if your son's a star player, and he can go one and done, then let him go ahead, that he can always go back and get his education, his college education, but the money is sitting right there for him. I know money is not everything to everybody. So my opinion is I would tell my son, you go ahead and get that money, but you best believe you
working on the back end.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you bring it on back. He ain't do nothing but he adopted a mentality that he saw there. They got these ranking systems, ESPN 100, top 300, top 100, and if you take a look, he's better at capturing the lower number kids. So you figure if he's getting the number 1, maybe 10, number 14, maybe 20th, and maybe 30th ranked kid in that top 100, then his winning percentage should increase. His opportunity for winning should increase. So it's a method to his madness. And again, he's bringing revenue into Kentucky, like Darnell says, it's a business. And he's treating it that way. All he's saying is, I won this crop of kids this year again. Let's bring this crop in. Let's see what they do. And I watched him, because I watched it today, the 30 for 30 on him. And he said, listen, I'm not focused on winning the national title. He said, if these kids come in, and I get the best kids every year. He said, I get the best kids. He said, if they happen to win the national title, then okay. But if they don't, they're going on here to the NBA. He's adapted a philosophy, and it's working for him, and it's trend-setting because everyone else is beginning to adopt. Like Darnell said, Kansas. Bill Self said he had to jump on the bandwagon.
Right. That's it? Okay. Yes, sir.
Well, from the beginning, I always said it was modern day slavery, and that's pretty much what it is. You take a college coach, and I don't think it's fair, but again, it's a business. So when they go after your kids, the scholarships are on a 1-year basis, and that's what the parents got to understand, and that's what the kid has to understand. So sometimes, if a kid is not as good or didn't pan out, they'll let them go and bring another. They always are going to over recruit. So if Damon is the number 1 point guard and I'm the number 2 point guard, and Damon is in there, and they want Damon to get the scholarship, they're going to go after Damon. But trust me, they're going to come after me as well, because they're going to feel as though Damon may not pan out, or Damon may go to another school, so they're going to offer me as well. So it's a tricky business that when it comes down to this college basketball and college football when it comes to recruiting.
Yeah, I really didn't. Like a year ago, I found out that the scholarships was just 1 year. Mm-hmm. Right. So I really didn't understand how they could do that. But now I understand it's only 1 year. So going in, you already know if you don't perform, you probably ain't gonna get that scholarship.
If you're a distraction on the team, they're not gonna bring you back.
And that's where I have the problem. You saying 1 year, but then you don't want to pay me. I'm bringing you this revenue. You saying you got a full ride. You don't have a full ride. So when you're being recruited, they put that letter of intent, and the parents sign it, but you don't know that it's just for 1 year. So, okay, you telling me I got a 4-year ride, it's in ESPN magazine, but technically, if Darnell comes in as a new coach, I'm going to get my guy, want my guy, so I'm kicked out. So it's technically not a four-year ride. That's what the quote. That's what they tell you, but it's not. It's renewed every year. So you gotta perform. If not, the coach get fired.
Now, there's certain schools that have 4-year scholarships.
Right, absolutely.
And the Northwestern Mayo is on a 4-year scholarship. So he set. Jelani set. So yeah. Okay.
But just to kind of say what you were saying, it's a business in a sense, just like your corporate America. You get evaluated after every year, and corporations hire more than what they need. They got a manager waiting, or they got an employee waiting. I see this person that missed 3 days. I got this kind of documentation on them already. Same thing with an athlete. Lowest on the totem pole, don't rebound too well. We thought they was going to do this. They're not panning out. They got 3 recruits already hot waiting to replace this guy. But we done told his mind that we was going to give him a full ride. So it's a business, ain't no doubt about it.
Yes.
I think for the most part, you got to implement parenting. You got to implement coaches. You got to implement maybe some figures in the community that know contracts and different things. Maybe a lawyer who goes to a church or something that can help out. You need to bring some people along. That village, it take a village to raise a kid mentality. You got to bring that along a little bit faster when you identify the kid that may be being a star. So you got to help get some structure around him so he can make a better decision for the most part.
Well, that's where I think that AAU is hurting us. That's why I think AAU is hurting us, because coaches they only want the tennis shoe money, the tennis shoe deals. They ain't really worried about the kid. Kid, athlete, he gonna get what he gets. So that's why I think see they don't have the kind of coaches that we had when we was coming up. They don't have that kind of coaches no more at AAU level. Some of them, I'm not gonna say all of them. Majority of them, just want the tennis shoe deal, get the money, and the kids they really don't have parental, support. So now they just stuck out there now. So, but you got anything to say before we wrap it up?
No, you pretty much touched on it all. But if you notice, everything that we pretty much touched on, it starts at home. It's the village concept, but it all starts at home. You're only as good as your parent. Some of the kids are single parent. Some. I see now a lot of fathers stepping up. Happy Father's Day to all of y'all. But I see a lot of fathers stepping up and doing the right thing. But it all starts at home with the parents. If the parents can take over and take back their kids, the whole community will be better. Some of the things that going on in society, some of the stuff with the basketball players and football and AAU, they hate a nosy parent that's into it.
Right. Yeah.
So when the parent is into it, then some of the AAU coaches, they gotta back off.
Right.
You know, so when you go to talk to them colleges, the parent has to step up. You can't let that kid make that decision because the parent has to help him and guide him through that decision. Right. So that's the way I look at it.
Okay. All right, man. Hey, it's been fun.
Yeah, I want to thank y'all, man. I appreciate y'all.
I ain't touched on LeBron all day, so
I know you was waiting, right?
I get you back.
Got you, man. Okay. What you say?
Hey, I'm Garfield Griffin. I'm 45 from Baltimore. Been here my whole life. I thank the opportunity for getting the opportunity to come in with you guys. Okay? Happy Father's Day to y'all, man. It's been good.
Damon Kazan, 42 years old. Coach New York Academy High School in Cherry Hill. Work at W.R. Grace, and just glad to be here, be amongst my big brothers. Happy Father's Day.
And I'm Darnell Dantzler, head varsity basketball coach at Emerson High School. Gotta say that I'm a Dunbar poet. You know, I gotta get that plug in. You know, so that most definitely gotta say PPO3. You know, so. But I want to thank you for having us. Right, you know, I appreciate it. And like I said, Happy Father's Day. You know, we always, when we see each other, all four of us always love.
No doubt.
And people see we hug and laugh and joke and talk about when we was 11 and 12.
Right.
But you know, I'm just happy to be a part. And the one thing I can say is we are family.
No doubt.
Ain't no question.
All right, so man, look, I want to thank y'all. You know, this been great. It's been great. You know, I usually do the shows by myself, and it's hard to do it by myself. But when I got minds like y'all, it's very easy. And I want to thank y'all again for coming out, man.
Anytime.
I love y'all.
Appreciate it. Love you.
Well, it's time to come back.
Yeah, we missed out on Lavelle Ball.
Ball.
All right, so hey, thank y'all for coming out. God bless y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.